full advantage of the time zone change. Please let no one bother me for at least a week.
Okay, if everybody take their seats, please, we'll get the program going. This mic's on, isn't it?
It's hot. Just tell
Yes.
Carrie that I did make that change. She had July 29th, not the resolution, it's August, but I changed it in mine.
Got quiet. Got real quiet. Okay, welcome everyone. Really appreciate you coming to the town of Arundequoit, our board meeting. And tonight, as we recognize this 30th anniversary of the Ukraine independence, we welcome friends of our Ukraine community and the delegation from the city of Dnipro, Ukraine. We appreciate our close relationship with all people from Ukraine, and especially our sister city, Poltava. This relationship between Arundequoit and Poltava was established back in 1993, and we still celebrate that tie today. Over the years, we have planted several friendship trees right here on the Town Hall campus as a way to signify and promote friendship, civility, dedicated a monument and remembrance plaque, and welcome open world delegations from Poltava and other cities in Ukraine that have visited the greater Rochester area. Today we celebrate not just the 30th anniversary of Ukraine independence, but many, many years of friendship between our countries. I have a proclamation. I'll read the proclamation, okay? Whereas the town of Arundequoit is proud of its richest Ukraine heritage, serving as home to one of the largest Ukrainian communities in New York State. Whereas since 1992, the citizens of Arundequoit have maintained a bond with Ukraine through a sister city relationship with the Ukraine city of Poltava, which has promoted a mutual understanding between two communities of friendship and remains strong to this day. Whereas Arundequoit resident, the late Professor Mirko Pasenko, played an instrumental role in establishing the John McCain Ukraine Diaspora Library in the city of Dnipro, Ukraine in 2019 by donating 15,000 rare books from his private collection published in the United States and other countries. And whereas as America has long prided itself on being a mosaic of many cultures, the thousands of Ukraine families in our region are indeed part of the foundation of a very strong and diverse community. Whereas Ukraine gained its independence from the former Soviet Union on August 24th, 1991, yet still today that freedom is threatened by global adversities who stand against peace. And whereas efforts like the Open World Leadership Center has brought hundreds of visitors from throughout the world of Arundequoit since 2006, including a president delegation of honored civic dignitaries from Dnipro, and whom our community welcomes with open arms and great affection. Now let it be resolved that we, the Arundequoit Town Board, on behalf of the entire town of Arundequoit, do enthusiastically welcome our distinguished friends from the city of Dnipro and join them in celebrating the 30th anniversary of independence, Ukraine independence, and be it further resolved on this day of August 17, 2021, we hereby join with the entire Arundequoit community to profess our continued support of the people of Ukraine. Thank you. I just want to say one thing. When I met Mirko, we were just starting the process of our library, just starting to talk about building a new library, joining the two together, combining them and making one. And he was an instrumental part of that process. He was really great. He was a part of the library board here in Arundequoit, and he was very instrumental when we started getting the library up and running. You know, it was just a thought, and then we have our library here today. But he was very instrumental in helping us progress and get the community involved in it, and later build a new library. So I'm really a good man. He was a very good friend, and I enjoyed his company very much. So, sure.
Thank you for the proclamation.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Can I take my mask off?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'll say a few words. Dear acting town supervisor, town board members, town officials, esteemed community, reverend fathers, pastors, it is a great honor for me to accept this proclamation on behalf of the Ukrainian community of Arundequoit and Greater Rochester. 30 years ago, Ukraine regained its independence, but throughout 1,000-year history of Ukraine, our peoples were always striving to achieve the Ukrainian dream. That dream was freedom, peace, and prosperity. And that is why the Ukrainian flag is blue and yellow. Blue symbolizes blue, peaceful skies, and yellow symbolizes prosperous wheat fields. Unfortunately, our ancestors were subjected to many wars, aggressions, and even man-made famine. And many of them were forced to leave their homeland and move and find peaceful life in other countries. The monument on the grounds of the Irandekoy Town Hall symbolizes several waves of Ukrainian immigration to this area starting 100 years ago. Ukrainian immigrants in this country worked hard to achieve their now American dream, which was very similar to their Ukrainian dream that they could not achieve in their country. We are thankful to our new homeland and appreciate that it accepted us and treated us with liberty and freedom and justice and provided us the opportunities to achieve our dreams that we could not achieve in our homeland. Town of Irandekoy is home to many residents of Ukrainian descent, as well as several churches, businesses, and organizations. We have representatives of several churches here, St. Joseph Church, Father Phil, representatives of Slavic Baptist Church are here. We have representatives from the Credit Union and from Rock Maidan, the organization Rock Maidan that helps Ukraine during this difficult times. Dr. Gashovsky, which are very active volunteer in the Ukrainian community, and she organizes Ukrainian Independence Day every year on the grounds of town Irandekoy. And thank you everybody else that came in to celebrate this proclamation with us. Ukrainians played a significant role in the life of this town, and several of them were serving on the Irandekoy town government too. We had several on town board, Lubomir Shmigel, Irene Skrobach-Skoglio, Lydia Juice, who also served as town clerk and planning board member. Irene Shmigel was chief court clerk and court administrator. Tamara Denisenko was on ethics committee, and Mirko Pelichenko, as we mentioned, was on Irandekoy Library Board of Trustees. Ukrainians are proud to call Irandekoy their hometown, and they always appreciate support from the town and its leadership. Thank you for the proclamation and for recognizing this important date for people of Ukraine and Ukrainians in Irandekoy and all over the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You always get a chance, and I always appreciate the opportunity to say a few words in our wonderful town of Irandekoy, a town for a lifetime. I like that motto. I am very pleased and have the great honor of reading a letter of greeting from our sister city, Poltava, that was initiated by Fred Lappel. When Ukraine became independent, he said, Tamara, I want a relationship with Ukraine in honor of the many contributions that the Ukrainian community did over 100 years in Rochester and Irandekoy. So, to the residents of the town of Irandekoy in Greater Rochester, State of New York, United States of America, on behalf of the deputies of the Poltava City Council, residents and territorial communities of Greater Poltava, we extend sincere greetings to the residents of Irandekoy and the Greater Rochester community on Independence Day of Ukraine. This day is rightly considered the birthday of Ukraine as a free and independent state. For every Ukrainian, it is most important holiday. In 1991, Ukraine began its new page in history. Our country is a young, independent state. Behind us is the thorny path of our struggles for freedom and liberty, and ahead, a challenging and difficult path of building a new state of civil society and the establishment of democracy. For many years, Irandekoy, Rochester, and Poltava have been united by a sincere and cordial friendship. We wish peace and prosperity to your community, God's blessings, good health, happiness, optimism, fulfillment of dreams and hopes. With respect, Mayor Alexander Mamai of Poltava. Thank you so much for the partnership. Yes, and I would like to introduce the Secretary of the City Council of Dnipro, who will make a brief presentation.
Dear and honored leaders of the town of Irandequot and members of the Ukrainian community in Irandequot and Greater Rochester. Please accept our warm and cordial greetings from our City of Dnipro Mayor Boris Filatov. On behalf of the Dnipro City Council, I sincerely thank you for your cordial welcome on Irandequot Town Hall, for recognizing the 30th anniversary of Ukrainian independence and the contributions of the Ukrainian community in Greater Rochester for over 120 years. We also appreciate your United States government programs such as Open World and other, the creation and support of credit unions such as the Ukrainian Federal Credit Union and the Ukrainian Centennial Monument. Thank you for helping to preserve and share Ukrainian history, traditions, and values in the United States. I would like to take this opportunity to wish you success and, of course, good health. And I give this letter from our mayor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Motion detected.
Oh, I'm sorry. And this is gift from Dnipro City. It's
Scotch?
small gift. It's a musician instrument, but it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Pipe,
Okay.
smoking, when people want friendship, to
Okay.
establish a relationship, normally in Ukraine, they sit all together, have a little bit of drink,
Sure.
and they all smoke pipe, the
Oh.
pipe of friendship and peace.
Okay. What's in the pipe? Tobacco? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. A little photo op? Sure.
Будь ласка, всі наші представники, everybody up, and we'll take a group picture here, and then we'll go outside and do a group picture.
That's very nice.
Okay? Proclamations of
Come on, young man. Come on.
You know, you better get used to all these gifts.
Oh. Yeah, I know. You got your mask on. Yeah, yeah. You want to get it out of the way? May I? Yeah. Yes, you want to...
slide that.
You want to put it...
Is it
locked?
Okay.
You know how.
Thank you.
You got it going. There you go.
I'll move it back.
All right, good. Be careful of the cord.
A little bit
Okay.
like shoulders, so you can get more people. Okay, there, right there. Okay, this side, move in, move in.
During now.
Wide angle here.
It's like every family dinner I
Yeah.
have growing up, and the family photo.
Okay, there.
You're not regular town board meeting. This is the meeting of August 17, 2021. I would appreciate if everyone joins the town board in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Councilwoman Freeman.
Here.
Councilman Perdicone.
Here.
Acting Supervisor. Councilwoman Romeo. Councilman Weiner.
Here.
Attorney for the town.
Here.
Thank you.
I do have a couple of remarks. On August the 4th, we had the National Night Out here out on campus, and I want to thank everyone for participating and coming. Special thanks to the chief and Jonathan, our officer, Jonathan Lawton, who was the master of ceremonies, and all the dignitaries that were in attendance, including the special thanks to the town board. And I would like to congratulate Jennifer DeVoe Whitman. She was our first. She was sworn in on August the 12th. She'll complete the remaining 5 months of the term of the late Judge Joe Janier, who sadly passed away earlier this year. She is the first woman judge in the history of Irondequoit, and Ms. DeVoe will join Judge Joseph Valentino and Judge Patrick Rusi. And Jennifer, I'm certainly sure, will be a great steward to the town. On 9/11, we're going to have a remembrance ceremony here on campus at 8:30 a.m. The community is invited together at Town Hall to remember those lives lost on that fatal day. I know it's hard to believe, but it's a 20-year anniversary of the 9/11. We are going to have a Red Cross blood drive this coming Thursday. We had 30 spots. I think there's only a couple of spots left. Red Cross, you can, if you want to sign up and get the few remaining spots, redcrossblood.org to register. And I would like to thank everyone that is going to be here and donating their blood. And a couple of things I want to talk about. I found out the last couple of days that Irondequoit is one of the hottest zip codes for 2021 for real estate, realtor.com, America's hottest zip codes. We made the top 10. Take it into account. The two aspects that they look at is the market demand. They measure it by how many viewers each home has and the number of days a listing remains on the market. I'm certainly sure anyone who's been looking for a home recently can attest to all those 2 points there. And the hottest areas are the most that have high demand from buyers, lots of viewers of property, and fast-selling homes. Two other things I want to do next month. We're going to change two of the meeting dates. The workshop is going to be Wednesday, September the 8th at 4 p.m. The town board meeting will be September 14th at 7 p.m. Okay, with that, you could do our financial report. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Public input. Let me see if anybody signed up. Now, we're having a public hearing at 7:35. So, if some people, you're here to talk on that, let me see if anybody's on the list for our public input. No, it's empty. Okay. Okay, very good. No one here for public input. Okay. For the public hearing, you do, yeah. But that's at 7:35. Okay, all set. Okay, Diana, financial report?
Okay. Thank you. The financial results for the town as of July 31st, 2021. Total expenses, actual as well as encumbered, are $21,846,000, or 57.6% of budget, which is slightly below the 58.3% of the year that has elapsed. The breakdown is $18,563,000 for actual expenses and $3,283,000 for encumbrances. Encumbrances are 8.6% as departments are continuing to commit to services and supplies for the remainder of the year. General fund expenses are favorable to budget at 56.8% or $13,216,000. The split here is actual expenditures, $11,742,000, and encumbered expenditures, $1,473,000. Contained within the general fund encumbrances are installment debt for equipment leased by the solid waste, tree program, and parks departments, information technology projects and services, attorney fees, and other contracted expenses throughout the town. Also included are the 2021 projected but unexpended energy costs of the general fund street lighting account. Jointly, the highway fund's expenses are greater than the percent of the year that has elapsed at 65.4%, or $3,703,000. These costs are typically driven by salt, gas, fuel, roadwork and paving services, and materials such as oil and stoning and asphalt, as well as equipment parts. Expenditures in the library fund are 55.9% of budget at $1,479,000. Included in this amount is a bond payment of $621,000 for principal and interest for the consolidated library. Sewer fund expenses of $2,355,000 equate to 56.6% of budget. Expenses in the stormwater drainage total $410,000 or 43.9% of budget. We are underscoring again that the expenses excluding encumbrances for the town as well as the three major funds are less than the percent of the year that has elapsed. 58.3% of the year has elapsed, and the actual expenditure percentage exclusive of encumbrances for the town is 48.9%. The general fund is 50.5%. Sewer fund is 52.2%, and the collective highway funds 39.8%. Revenue received in the general fund is $15,328,000 or 68.3% of budget. Real estate taxes of $11,800,000 have been received. Payments in lieu of taxes are $244,000 or 91.7% of budget. The first quarter mortgage tax of $272,000 has been received. That equates to 30.2% of budget. Mortgage tax for the second and third quarters is expected in December. 2 months of sales tax of $896,000 have been recorded. The second quarter receipts are anticipated in August. Other sources of revenue are at 51.9% and includes $188,000 in property tax interest. Other major revenue items are expected later in the year include franchise fees generally received in September. Aid and incentives for municipalities is expected in December. Regarding the entire town, $28,160,000 or 76.2% of revenue and appropriated fund balance have been received to date. Approximately $18,135,000 is real estate tax. At the end of July, the library has received $2,589,000 or 97.9% of its budgeted revenue. 81.7% or $4,553,000 has been received by the collective highway funds. The sewer fund has received revenue of $4,065,000 or 99.7%. Stormwater drainage has recognized $868,000 or 97.4% of budgeted revenue. In addition to the operating revenue discussed above, American Rescue funds of $11,227,000 were received in May. The use of this funding is restricted for the response to and relief of COVID-19 and can be used to cover costs incurred through December 31st, 2024. A special revenue fund has been established to account for these funds. This concludes the financial report for the month of July 2021.
Motion to accept the financial report.
Move.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Approval of minutes?
Approval of minutes. July 6, 2021, the special workshop meeting.
Motion approved.
Moved.
Second?
Second, I'm just looking at them to
Okay.
see if there was
I
one.
believe everyone here. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
July 13th, 2021, the workshop meeting.
Motion to approve?
Moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
July 20th, 2021, the regular town board meeting.
Motion to approve?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We will do the public hearing at 7:35, so items for board action. Barb, we're going a little out of order, of course, you know, I might as well stir it up a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to start with
Okay.
appointment number 1, authorizing the appointment of a part-time court attendant.
Motion?
Moved.
Second.
Second? Okay, let me get the resolution out. Yes, the town court is indeed of an initial security officer due to a number of recent retirements, and Mr. Vasile comes to us with a highly qualified candidate with decades of relevant experience. He is familiar with the courtroom process and has worked as a substitute plaintiff in the town village courts. So I'll make a move, make a motion to accept.
We have a motion.
We have a motion.
Yep.
Any comments, anything?
No.
Okay, second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Second resolution authorizing the appointment of a multiple part-time community center staff.
Motion.
Second.
Katrina, you want to explain, please?
Sure, yes. This resolution brings forward a group of names for part-time staff for our front desk attendants as well as our fitness center attendants at the new community center. With the opening date nearing, we need to bring our staff on board so that we can train them so that they're prepared when the opening date comes. All of these individuals are part-time individuals that are either looking for a second job or a job after retiring.
Okay, any questions from the board?
No, just a comment. Really want to thank Jason and Katrina for going out, doing the interviews, getting good candidates. I'm just, like everyone else, excited about the community center opening up and knowing that we'll have staff there that will be able to help our residents. Thank you both.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Fourth resolution authorizing the permanent appointment of 2 school traffic guards.
Make a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Sure.
Okay, Peter, thank you. Chief?
Thank you. This resolution brings forth the names of Amy Vokel and Charlene Trubia to fill vacancies on the crossing guard unit. They were interviewed by the crossing guard coordinator. These vacancies are a result of retirements since the end of last school year.
Okay, are there any questions, comments?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Next resolution authorizing the appointment of a full-time senior planner in the Department of Community Development.
Make a motion?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Carrie?
Thank you. I am pleased to recommend to the board the appointment of Annalisa Rogers. Annalisa has many years of experience across multiple sectors, including the nonprofit space, housing, food link or food deficit services in the community. Her experience with grant monitoring, grant program, administration, and also grant seeking, and just in general, the connection between public policy and implementation is going to serve her well in the roles and responsibilities we're envisioning for the senior planning position with the projects that we have currently that are grant funded and the future projects that we anticipate through grant funding. I believe that her experience will serve her well in this position.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Anything? Yeah, I know, yeah.
No questions.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Is she here this evening?
Annalisa is here.
Oh, boy. Well, we started early, so she's gotta,
She's,
where is she?
I didn't tell her that there would
Oh,
be a
you didn't?
speaking
Okay.
opportunity. No, but she just has to stand and say hello is all. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. The sixth appointment is authorizing the appointment of a zoning board member to the town's zoning board of appeals.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Carrie?
Yes, as you all know, we have a current vacancy on the zoning board. One of our members needed to resign due to work conflicts. Our alternate, F.L. Gorman, is pleased by the opportunity to continue serving, and so we're advancing his name to elevate him from an alternate to a permanent member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. You'll recall when we reviewed his resume for the appointment to alternate, he is an attorney by trade. He has experience and background in land use and development, and we believe that he'll serve the board well in a permanent position there.
Any questions, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Resolution number 7, authorizing the provisional appointment of a real property appraiser.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Amy?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. This is a position for provisional to hire a real property appraiser. This position has been vacant for quite some time in our office. However, it is a budgeted position. I interviewed 3 candidates, and Stephanie Malara was the best candidate. I think she will be a great fit, and I'm looking forward to working with her.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Item number 8, authorizing the appointment of a part-time office clerk 4.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Amy?
So this resolution is to hire Mary Ellen Toohey. She's being hired to replace our current part-time clerk, who's going to be moving over to the clerk's office to work from now on. I interviewed 7 candidates for this position, felt Mary Ellen was the best, and looking forward to her working in the office.
Okay, any questions? Comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Item number 8, authorizing the permanent appointment of the chief of police.
Make a motion. Motion to adopt.
Moved. Second.
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 Sure, I'll second.
Chief, I never had any doubt. Congratulations. He is our permanent chief of police right now. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried. Congratulations, chief.
Glad to have you here.
Item number 10, regarding State Environmental Quality Review Act compliance in the matter of rezoning, tax ID numbers 047.56-1-56.1, 047.56-1-4, and 047.56-1-95 from R1 Residential and C Business District to WD Waterfront Development District.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Carrie?
I apologize, Barb. That's a lot of numbers. Very sorry. Those are tax IDs.
Second one?
This is the resolution to address the State Environmental Quality Review Act, otherwise known as SEEKR, for a proposed rezoning for these 3 parcels. This is an unlisted action for the purposes of SEEKR. And when we look at the potential impacts, we look at things with respect to the rezoning. The proposed development is comprised of 4 2-unit residential structures. It is we think about the impact to community character, The proposed development is residential development located next to a multi-story condominium development to the west and more densely developed residential, single-family residential streets to the east. The residential scale is consistent with the uses and massing in the vicinity of the proposed development. As for development that could happen under waterfront development district, anything else would be subject to separate seeker analysis, since this is being evaluated for this particular rezoning application. Impact to community character, the proposed residential development is located next to a multi-story condominium, so it's consistent with the land use. It's also supported in the comprehensive master plan. The area for the proposed, the recommendations advanced in the comprehensive master plan call for increasing the types and offerings of residential housing. Also calls for this kind of development in the Somerville area. With respect to traffic, the proposed development will result in the generation of additional traffic to and from the new residences. However, the increase in trip generation is far below the New York State DEC's established threshold to be deemed a large or adverse impact. And then environmental impacts associated with increases in pervious surface can be mitigated through site design. And that'll be something that the planning board would further analyze should the project move forward to site plan, for site plan review, and further for building, the building permit for construction. Additionally, there are some New York State DEC regulated areas in the vicinity of the property, and their regulatory process would also further help to mitigate any environmental impacts associated with the proposed action. Based on this, we're anticipating or recommending a negative declaration for the purposes of seeker.
Okay, are there any questions or comments from the board?
Just a comment to Carrie. Yeah, this is a mouthful, but thank you guys so much for the work you're doing and make sure that we had the proper information to make a decision.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So carried.
Item number 11, approving an application on the matter of rezoning tax ID numbers 047.56-1-56.1, 047.56-1-4, 047.56-1-95 from R1 Residential and C Business District to WD Waterfront Development District.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Carrie?
So this action would modify the underlying zoning for these parcels, changing it to Waterfront Development District. The application was presented and came forward for a specific development proposal, and that is those four residential structures comprised of 2 dwelling units each. And the board, I know, reviewed this at previous workshops and also heard comments through the public hearing process, which was previously conducted and concluded.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? No?
We're just contemplating the rezoning at this point.
Correct.
Trina, you all set?
No, that's
Okay.
fine.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 12, authorizing an agreement with the Bonadio Group for consulting services.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Diana?
Thank you. This resolution is to authorize an agreement with the Bonadio Group to provide services related to the management of the American Rescue Plan funding. We issued an RFP on June 15th. We received 3 proposals. The selection committee consisted of Supervisor Sealy, Deputy Supervisor Perdicone, and myself. We met with all 3 respondents, and we are recommending to enter into an agreement with Bonadio Group for the services at a fee of $340 an hour for the services.
Yeah, I also was in on that interview, and this is just going to give us another good set of eyes. They're going to assist us with a grant management program with the recovery monies and that, and I think it's going to be very helpful that we have someone looking and making sure that we're doing the right thing, and we may have questions for them as we proceed with the monies. So, are there any questions or comments?
Yeah, Diana, this is consistent with the policy that the town does when we have large monies coming in through grants, am I correct?
To be honest, Katrina, this is probably the largest sum of money the town has, and it has a lot of stipulations on it by the federal government.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions? Okay.
No, I think it's good having somebody to help us advise on that regard.
I do as well.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Item number 13, authorizing a fund balance transfer to finance the new community center.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Diana, just,
Yeah, thank you. So this resolution is to authorize a transfer from the general fund balance to the community center capital project. When the community center construction was authorized on resolution 2019-128, the maximum cost appropriated was $9.5 million. The financing plan was the issuance of $7,250,000 of serial bonds and $2,250,000 of current town funds. So this resolution will authorize that transfer to be completed as the work is ongoing at the community center.
any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. So resolution is adopted.
Item number 14, approving a paid parental leave policy.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Yeah, I will speak on this. This is going to be having parental leave. We haven't had it here. It was something that the board and then our Jason Vanette, our human resources, put our resolution together. This is for representing our non-representative employees right now. We have sent this policy out to our other 5 unions to, if they would like to implement it in their collective bargaining agreement. And so as we go forward, we will be talking with them, and hopefully they'll be implementing the exact same policy as we have for our rest of our employees in the town. So are there any questions or comments?
I wanted to thank you, John, because I believe this was partly generated by yourself
Yeah.
and efforts that you put forth, and thank you for doing that for the employees here.
This is something that was definitely needed, and it was very thoughtful and foresighted for us to for you to bring it to our attention and be able to turn it around so quickly.
So I thank everyone, and I thank the town board for supporting and Jason for putting it together. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 15, awarding the bid for multimedia playback system.
This is, okay, I'm looking at this one here. Are there, let's see, motion to adopt?
Moved.
Second?
Second.
I will comment on this a little bit. This is basically going to put us into Mike did this resolution, and what it's going to do is, it's going to actually bring our system, our ICAT system, and everything going forward. We'll be able to do some football games. There's going to be an app. So once it gets rolling, we'll look into this. It's a lot of good technical support for us, and it's going to be good for the town as we go forward with our ICAT. And we're going to be talking to the school districts, including Bishop Kearney too, and see if we can have the football games as well on the Friday nights. So this is good to just improve our IT down there. So I appreciate Mike's efforts on this, and it's a media playback system, and it's going to be used for the cable access television and the fund, and we're going to be subsequent to the funds transfer. So I want to thank Mike for this. This is going to be good for our town to just bring our necessary upgrades to our playback system. So are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I noticed that the amount for the bid was for $68,962.50. But I also see that there's a clause of it is not also to exceed $100,000 depending on the option chosen. Are we authorizing him to spend up to $100,000?
Yeah, Correct. Yeah, if he wants to go, I think it's another 3 years, of maintenance on the system.
So we can't just have him come back to us and propose?
You mean if he wants to go to to go forward with it?
No, I'm saying, can we authorize just the 68,000? And then if he needs more, stuff, to have him come back to present another resolution?
I thought when this was brought before us before, that there was a discount if we authorized the maintenance
Is that
and
what it
service.
The maintenance on it as well, too,
Okay.
right?
Award,
So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
piecemealing it year by year by year.
Yeah, it'll be more expensive that way,
Okay,
okay?
all right, that makes sense then.
Pete, any other questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 16, approving purchase of two 2022 Ford Utility Police Interceptor all-wheel drive vehicles and the associated budget transfers.
Motion to adopt.
Move.
Second?
Second.
Chief?
Thank you. These are budgeted items for two replacement police vehicles. We do need to do a budget transfer in the amount of $3,275.34 due to the fact we weren't able to order 2021 police vehicles because of the shortage of vehicles. They just want to take our order, so we had to wait until the new model year, which causes a little bit of a increase from the 2021 model year. So that's why that's there. It will be replacing two vehicles that are currently in our fleet that are in dire need of replacement.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Thank you, Chief. No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 17, authorizing the supervisor to enter into a Group X instructor payment structure.
Motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Katrina?
Yes, thank you. This resolution brings forward a proposed tiered model to pay our group exercise instructors. As we look at the new community center and look at the additional instructors we will be bringing on board and the additional programs, we felt that a tiered payout structure would create less competition between our instructors, so all the instructors would be paid the same amount. We could use each of the instructors as subs for the other because there wouldn't be a differential in pay. And this would also help the cost of the programs remain low since the payouts are tiered based on the amount of individuals in the class. And group exercise programs are paid for through fees from the participants as well as health insurance reimbursements.
Okay, any questions or comments from the board?
No, you went into this with greater depth than, very good overview, but this really makes a lot of sense and really sets us up to be very competitive and allows for access by the public to a lot more events at a more effective cost.
Sure,
at the
yes.
Community center. I think it was Ryan you were?
Yes, Ryan is our fitness coordinator, and he did a lot of research on this to help us maintain competitive, or continue to be competitive with other group exercise programs, but also to reduce the barriers to our instructors and to our participants.
I think anything that makes anything simpler and broader in scope is exactly what we want to do. So, very good work.
Any other comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. It is now 7:30. We'll do one more and then we'll go to the public hearing. So,
Item
Barb, one
number
more?
18, authorizing the entry into an amendment of various contracts with vendors for youth, family, and senior recreational programming for summer 2021.
motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Katrina?
Thank you. Yes, this resolution brings forward an amendment to a previously approved resolution. We were asked by many participants to extend some of our programs into September, and seeing as September is still summer, we'd like to add on a few additional programs for the community members in September, and this just brings forward the agreements and the descriptions of the classes.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Okay, it is 7:35, and we have a public hearing.
Public hearing number 8 PH 2021-1 on the matter of granting a special use permit for 2180 East Ridge Road in a C business district.
A motion to open the public hearing.
Moved.
A second?
Second.
Okay, the public hearing is opened. Carrie, you want to speak?
Sure,
on
happy
this?
to provide a quick introduction.
Okay.
The applicant is here and will be making a presentation as well, so I'll keep this brief. The proposed application for a special use permit is associated with the development of a burn dairy with gasoline fueling station. The fueling station is the only thing that requires the special use permit per our code for C business district. So I just want to remind the board of that, and also anyone viewing at home or here in the audience. So the retail operation is not subject to special use permit by the town board. The site, because it's a new development, is going to involve the demolition of the existing structure, the former library, and then a construction of a new freestanding building and the canopy with 4 gasoline pumps. And that would be the 4 individual pumps serving with 8 fueling sides, so eight spaces for fueling, if that makes any sense. The fueling station is subject to the special use permit. Any other, the other aspects of the development are subject to site plan approval through the planning board.
Okay.
Could you
Before,
just
go ahead.
expand one more thing about what is the definition of a special use permit is? Or
Oh,
special
yes, no, that's a great question. So special use permit indicates that it's an allowed use, permitted use in the district. It provides the town board with the ability to impose reasonable conditions on the use that's governed by the special use permit.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I just want to note, before the applicant comes up, we have a list up there for any of the public that wants to speak. You could sign, and after the applicant speaks, and we'll call each individual up to speak on your behalf. Yeah, I got the. You just state your name and for the record. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Christian Bernal, Senior Executive Vice President for Sunburn Sales, Inc., also known as Burn Dairy. I just wanted to hand out some, on my board, I'm going to flip it over. I just wanted to make sure the board members had some, just some quick arrows.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, again, thank you for having me. As Carrie had said, I'm here for a special use permit for the fueling facility portion. Wanted to let the board know Sunburn Sales, Inc. I had said this in front, I've already been in front of the ZBA, by the way. I did receive an area variance for 49 square foot area variance for side yard setback. Basically proposing at this time to put the building very similar to where the library is now. Okay, so on August 2nd, I believe I got the area variance for that. I have been in front of the planning board for 2 separate workshops as well. We are working on, everything from fencing to buffering to landscape to positioning and whatnot. But to get back to Sunburn Sales, I think it's very important for the board and the audience to realize what Sunburn Sales is. Sunburn Sales is the retail division of Burn Dairy. It is a family company-owned business, okay, since 1933. I myself have been there for 24 years, have built in excess of 50 convenience stores across New York State. I'm in charge of pretty much everything from maintenance to anything else that they can call me on my cell phone. I've already handed cards out to several neighbors. I'm very approachable and will work with everyone. I say that because it's very important that now we're not a large corporation. Okay, we have 63 stores across upstate New York only. Everyone knows our milk, ice cream plants as well. We have 4 plants, we have a yogurt plant. Again, I work specifically with the Byrne family. They are still there. My boss is Mark Byrne and his brother Carl Byrne. I am also on the board of directors for Burn Dairy, Sunburn, and Ultra Dairy. Okay, so it's a very tight-knit company. We are not a corporation from California or out of state. We are very reachable, which to me is a big deal in regards to if there's ever any issues in the future. If approved, they can contact myself. We're right out of our corporate offices in Elbridge, New York. As everyone knows, I'm opening a store here in Maiden Lane and Festner tomorrow, matter of fact, at 3 p.m. So we're growing in Rochester. We plan on growing many more stores in the Rochester suburbs and whatnot and throughout New York State. So again, I wanted to make sure the board understands that that's who you're dealing with, okay? We do not get a franchise. We do not, I'm not picking on 7-Eleven, or we don't go out and look for franchises. They're company owned and operated, okay? Everyone is a Sunburn Sales employee, okay? Again, they work for Sunburn. Real quick, I'm just gonna point to the kind of a proposed site plan right now. It's not the final, we're far from there, but I just wanted to let you know what Sunburn does. So we have a 4,232 square foot store. If everyone's driven, I'm gonna keep referring to Maiden and Festner. It's been being built for 3-4 months now. Same, very similar building, same exact footprint. Okay, as Carrie said, we have 4 fuel pumps, and I know there's been some misconception out there that there's 20-some fueling positions. That is not true. There are 4 fuel pumps. The maximum fuel is 8 vehicles, okay, 1 on each side. You can see on this proposed plan, we have pedestrian access, which we feel very important. You know, we have ice cream and whatnot for kids. You can see right now there's a proposed sidewalk along here between the Wegmans. And by the way, for all people out there, again, this right here is almost identical where the library sits now. So Wegmans is right here. The Wegmans tractor trailers back up right here and deliver here. Wegmans actually goes back into the neighborhood here, okay? I believe in 2014, this was rezoned to see business by the town. Pedestrian access as well over here, okay, on Ridgewood right here. So again, anyone coming down through here can go here without getting any sort of vehicular pedestrian conflict. Okay, so 2 access points for pedestrians. You can see I handed an informational package out, which I already believe you have. Right now, again, we're proposing, I'll show it to the neighbors, a 6-foot custom, okay, custom privacy fence, cedar fence, tight together. I've done this most recently in the city of Ithaca. If you ever been to the city of Canandaigua, I have a store literally in a residential neighborhood. The old Ranks Big M, I bought it about 4 years ago. It is 100% surrounded by houses, okay? I use these type of fences. They're not wooden stockade with overlap or spaces in between them. They're solid. I even, as I mentioned, the planning board, be willing to put some 6-foot tall plantings of arborvitae trees in front of that fence if need be. I could keep some existing mature trees back there if need be. The site is 1.6 acres, 312 foot of frontage along East Ridge and 251 along here. So in regards to the Maiden, I keep remembering that, that's a 1.1 acre site. This is a ½ acre larger, okay? I'm proposing right now 2 curb cuts. Gonna reuse the existing one, okay, in Ridge here, in East Ridge, and then we're proposing a new one right here. And whenever you do commercial development, it's pretty much the state or any municipality is gonna make you line up driveways with commercial type uses. So this driveway, that we're exactly lined up with the Walgreens driveway. Okay, we didn't stagger it. Actually, the planning board workshop, we had some ideas with the driveway further back here, and I said, no, that's not a good idea, right? We want to keep this traffic lined up with Walgreens and towards the corner, okay? You can see the fence. Any questions on the fence? In regards to lighting, we use 100% dark sky friendly lighting.
I'm sorry, excuse me, folks.
Oh, yeah.
I have to
No,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to interrupt for just a quick second for the staff, from staff. When the applicant is making presentation, it's to the town board members. And so
Go ahead, Carrie.
certainly if you have comments or questions when the time for public input is, and comment is available, then you can certainly share those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure,
Okay,
go ahead.
in regards to lighting, very important for us. As you can see, we've already hired a lighting expert from Ohio. You can see here on the first page, sorry, this one's the planning board. They do foot candles. It is required by me per law to have 0 foot candles on all property lines. Okay, so when the lighting is designed, which it is designed now for this site plan, but if we change it, it'll be designed. This foot candle will be part of the record for the planning board. I have to have 0 foot candles on all property lines. Okay, that means there's no spill whatsoever. We also go above and beyond, and again, this is, I just printed this for you guys, but that's an actual site plan, a view from up top with light to make sure there is no lighting spill as well. Okay, we don't have to do this. Usually the only requirement is a foot candle. We also go a little thermal imaging as well. Again, the last thing I want to happen is have one of these neighbors have any sort of lighting spill a month from when we open the store. I will give everyone my card. I have more than enough copies. They can call me on my cell phone at any time. I can assure you I will answer it. But I can assure you these lights right now, if you look at the Maidens, they're only 12 feet high. Okay, I have some pictures here, but I'm not picking on what's there now. The DPW was there for 2.5 years. Their lights there now, and I have some pictures I'll flip over in a minute, are probably between 20 and 30 feet high. Stadium type lighting in all directions, no cutoff. Okay, and there's some pictures here I'll show. But lighting is very important. Again, to me, I can dark sky friendly compliant. That's also in your master plan. It's recommended that you use the most restrictive lighting, which is considered dark sky friendly compliant. This lighting plan uses all those fixtures. Full cutoff, 100% LED lighting. Okay, so from a light flow standpoint, we can control that, and I have controlled that as well. In regards to, I'll touch on traffic real quick here. We did have a traffic study. I know this will be a hot topic. I've already talked to a few neighbors about the traffic in regards to this. I hired GTS Consulting, who is a professional traffic engineer out of Syracuse, New York. He does tremendous amounts of traffic studies across New York State. This has been submitted, okay, to the Monroe County DOT and has submitted to the town as well. I just wanted to, please go through the whole report, but I'm not going to bore you. Basically, again, I just want to read the conclusion from a professional traffic engineer that this report here. The conclusion, the additional traffic generated by the proposed Burned Area development will have no notable or significant impact on traffic operations on East Ridge Road or Ridgewood Drive. The development will only have 1 to 2 vehicles entering and exiting each of the site driveways during each cycle of the adjacent traffic light. There are ample gaps in traffic to accommodate turning movements into and out of the development. Excellent sight lines in each direction and no capacity concerns. There are no mitigation measures recommended. That's the key there. If there was a high accident, if there was no gaps, meaning turn to get out, his mitigation would be to put some sort of device, change the cycle of the light. Sometimes you go from a 45 to a 60, but there are many mitigation things that usually sometimes you have to do. But from his study of doing a traffic, study, he says there's no mitigation required. Okay, that's in regards to traffic. I'm going to touch on real quick the other, which is going to be another hot topic. I might as well get it out there. I'm going to flip this over for everyone to see. Is all new stores for Burned Area are 24/7. Okay, hours of operation. We do that for cleaning, stocking at night, and whatnot. Again, I'm referring back to Maiden. Maiden is 24 hours. Okay, that board over there, I believe that was a conditional use permit, same difference special. The town over there, gave me 24 hours as well. The last, I can't even tell you how many stores I've built, 7 last year, 5, they're all 24 hour. You will note that I did put in front of the board, and I wanted to make sure that was entered into the record, okay, as well. First of all, I want to show the aerial, and that is this aerial right here. Quickly, site and proximity to proposed Burned Area, approved for 24/7 special permit on July 20th of 2021. Okay, that is this one stapled on the front page. That site is the exact zoning as my site, C Business. It is also, as you can see, I did the aerial over here. Okay, right here, you can see the heavily residential surrounding that site. Very, very similar to my site. Okay, that's 0.7 miles away. And again, that was approved, less than 2.5 weeks ago with a 24/7 operation. This board, I believe, did restrict the car wash hours. There is no car wash on mine. We would consider them a direct competitor with us, right? 0.7 miles away, same zoning, so we would consider them a direct competitor. Very important for the 24/7. Also wanted to put real quick, everyone knows where the the little A plus is across the street, that's .15, pretty much kitty corner from this. That is a 24/7 operation as well. There are some residential houses using that as well. That is also zoned C business. Also, so you got the tour hills, any questions on that? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, also I did, give you some addresses. There are currently in the town of Urandacoit 5 C-stores, which are almost identical uses to ours, C-stores and fueling facilities. There's the addresses, there's the distance from the 5 of them are currently 24 hours within the town as well. So I would say we have 5 competitors out there as well, that currently have 24 hours. Okay, we have a store in the town of Gates, on the Manitou, we've had that open for 3-4 years. We have one in Chilai, Brockport. We generally have very few, if any, issues in the night hours. People just don't go there. We stock, we clean at night. You know, we get limited number of customers usually. But again, it's crucial for 24. All new stores, like I said, we've done our 24 hours. Real quick, just to let other people know, there's other permitted uses in this, a special permit, and I always find this intriguing in zoning, is to look at the other uses that could be permitted. Another special permit could allow a bar here, a restaurant with 30 or more patrons, okay? Or permitted with no town board approval or special permit, you could put a drive-through restaurant. I'll read you that. So just permitted restaurants or eating establishments, takeout food business, and drive-in hamburger, ice cream, food or beverage stands with seating for 30 or less. That's permitted that they could go in there, okay? So that would be with no conditional permit. So there's several other uses also. I'm not saying, you know, they're somewhat comparable, but that could be here. I mean, you could have a bar here as well with, you know, with certain hours. So any questions? I want to keep it
Yeah,
somewhat
that's well,
short.
just any questions or comments from the board?
I mean, my only comment is that, first, I appreciate all the information you brought forward today as it relates to the overall site plan, but most of those issues are, for the audience, are issues that are before the planning board.
That is correct.
So we don't affect the curb cuts or talking about the traffic or, you know, the lighting and the site design is all things that people, if you feel important, you know, those are important issues, need to bring before the planning board in their hearings. So we're really looking at, and Carrie, feel free to hop in anytime, but, you know, just especially permitted use of the gas pumps and their operation as it relates to your permitted use on that site.
That is correct. I would add, everyone knows where the location is. There is a Wegmans next door, with, you know, bordering it, and a strip center, fully commercialized strip center across the street from this, with a Walgreens next to it as well.
So just the only thing that we can really affect is the operation of the gas pumps.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay, any other comments?
Now, I want to thank you for your presentation. You've given us ample information to make our decision. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, you can be seated. I'm going to open it up to the public input. So, yes, have a seat. Yeah, I'm going to open it up to public input. I have some names here. I'll go through these, but if you didn't sign up and you'd like to come up, we'll wait till everyone that signed up has spoke, and then you're more than welcome to come up. So the first one up, and state your name and address when you come up, please. Sandy Oram? Hi.
I'm Sandy Orm, and I live on Salem Road.
Okay.
And there's a lot of issues, but one of the things I want to address first is he keeps comparing this to Walgreens, and there's another one here, and there's a Sunoco, and there's one down the road, and there's Wegmans. But the thing is, we don't need another one, and we don't want another one, because he hasn't asked us if we really wanted a Wegmans there, or we really need one. And if he compares his fence to Wegmans, they have a parking lot, and their big concrete wall has a fence, and it doesn't back up to any houses. But we don't, I mean, if there's all these places that he's comparing, Quickville, Sunoco, Speedway, a Quigley's is going in, Amon's, we don't need another one. We don't have enough. I mean, we just, you know, and another thing is, this is going to negatively impact the quality of life of us in our neighborhood, because our neighborhood is very quiet, and a lot of people don't really know that because it's tucked away. And it's going to change the character forever. People might move away, our property value might change. And having gas there, I mean, what if there's a gas spill? What if there's an explosion? You've got houses right there. I mean, the other places on East Ridge Road, a lot of the houses are way set back. And even if there are some that aren't as much, it doesn't mean that we need one as close to our residents. And people will go down, take a right onto Ridgewood, which turns into Worthington, so they can go to the light to get onto Culver. And that's a no right on red. And people are going to speed. We're going to have extra traffic. And if you've been in the area, you can kind of like go in a circle. And kids love to ride their scooters, their bikes. People walk their dogs all the time. People come from the opposite side of Culver. And they come over and they walk their dogs, and it'll never be the same. And if there's a lot of traffic buildup going down Ridgewood to Worthington to Culver, if there's some impatient people, they might cut down Salem to take around to Worthington to kind of like edge in. And we'll have more noise, and it'll just change forever. And we don't have much crime there, but people will find out. I mean, everything's going to change forever. And we're just, it's not about lights necessarily. It's not about this. I mean, it is. It's about lights and that and this. But really, it's not about a cedar fence. It's about our neighborhood. And we don't want this as residents. We don't want this to change. And we just found out about this. People who live within 200 feet of this got postcards, but the rest of us didn't. So we heard by word of mouth and had to hand out, and it was really stressful because several of us missed meetings. And like Eastridge High School didn't know, Wegmans didn't know, Sunoco didn't know, the police department, people in the police department didn't know. And they said that there's so many motor vehicle accidents at that area that, there's going to be a lot more. So I just wanted to say that.
Okay, thank you. Next up, is it Susan Stepp? Susan? Looks like? No? Okay, Irene? Irene, Doctor, okay. State your name and your address. Thank you, sorry about that.
My name is Irene Doctor. I live at 11 Salem Road, and I've been an Arundequoit resident for 31 years, same house. Our neighborhood, again, as Sandy mentioned, is tucked away. We have a mix of senior citizens, some new families with young children, some veterans with disabilities. We have a lot of walkers and a lot of dog walkers. I would say that, when you look at Arundequoit neighborhoods, take a look at the investment that people have made in our, small little houses, new siding, new roofs, new windows. Just this summer, a lot of work has taken place, and people take pride in their homes. And I would call us a nice little model Arundequoit neighborhood. We're tucked away in there, but we have a lot of longtime residents. So I strongly oppose this project. Because it really is the wrong location for a 24-hour gas station. And I do want to clarify, I had actually emailed Mr. Brunel, I think his name was. I believe it is 24 individual pumps. So there could be 24 cars fueling there at any given time. And I'm assuming that includes diesel. I have no idea what size tanks those are, but that is an awful lot of gas that you're putting in someone's, literally, in the backyard of those houses that are going to back up to that fence. I mean, in general, other than those gas stations, right, we don't have 24-hour anything in Arundequoit. I mean, I used to tell my, the high school kids, nothing good happens between midnight and 6 a.m. And we don't want that in our neighborhood. I actually took a little video of my backyard. I drove home from vacation Saturday night, and I was amazed at how quiet it was. It was about 10:45, and I'm not exaggerating. The only thing I could hear was a cricket, and it was very loud, and that was it. I mean, I felt like my car door opening was disturbing my neighbors because it was so quiet. I also took a picture of Eastridge Road. There were literally no cars on it, like none. Wegmans had a few cars in the parking lot. I think there was one car in the drive-through of one of the banks, or the ATM of one of the banks in the plaza. And, there might have been one car at the light, so there really isn't a need. And I understand that they're saying that cleaning takes place at night and other things, but if they want business, that means this business is going to be coming in from elsewhere, and it will. Burn dairies, they're great. Nothing against a burn dairy, but they're busy all the time. So I'm not buying that they're not busy at night, because they will be busy. So we're basically inviting traffic in that totally does not exist. Along with the noise, I think there's a great possibility that there will be additional crime. It's a convenience store. Convenience stores have issues, whether it's crime or incidences, stuff's going to happen there. And then I did read the traffic study that was done, and I don't really understand traffic studies or zoning laws, but I have to say that it was conducted in July on a sunny day when school was not in session. There was no snow, no rain, no holidays, so you weren't taking into account the traffic that Wegmans generates in and around a long weekend, a Friday, a Sunday, all those time periods. The study goes into detail about gaps in traffic and how cars can turn. But I thought it was very interesting. Tonight, on a very light traffic night, I was actually heading left to Wegmans, and you can never take a left. You have to go into the middle lane, you have to pause there, and then wait for that second gap in that traffic. So now you're going to have the light at Wegmans, the light in front of the plaza, the opening in front of the gas station, the opening in front of Ridgewood, the opening in front of Walgreens, and the light, and I think it might be like a quarter mile, or, I don't know what the distance is, but it is a very short thing. People are going to be doing U-E's, they're going to be, they do it now. They come out of the plaza in that second entrance, and they try and get back to Culver. This takes place all the time, and we constantly have to watch, because we all know that we're going to get hit one day. Because that is just a reality of turning out of our street. So I don't think that, it's like an Excel spreadsheet with finance. You can slice it and dice it any way and make it look favorable to whatever you want it to say. So I think there's a lot more that could be said about traffic, but I think it's going to be a huge issue. They also talked about the traffic that's being generated, that 60% is passing by and 40% is from other places. But at this point, that 60% currently passing by is just going straight. They're literally passing by. Now you're going to have that 60% plus this new 40% turning in and out, at peak times during the day. You have school kids walking. The whole neighborhood changes when school starts. Kids are walking in the morning, they're walking all afternoon, and it's, pretty much from 2 o'clock, I would say till 6, kids are walking up and down that street because they're leaving sports, they're coming and going, and then you have kids driving. So now you got teenagers pulling into the Burn Dairy to grab an ice cream, and they're the ones who are going to be making a left-hand turn out of there. That's going to be something too. I think we're going to see an increase in accidents, traffic, noise, garbage. It really is going to change the character of our neighborhood. There are so many other areas on Ridge Road that this could go. I think that they would actually have additional business if they moved to a different location. And when I did drive up and down Eastridge Road the other day and just kind of looked, most of our businesses are not set that close to a residential area. There is some kind of buffer, or it's been there for so long that, people who moved in, you know, knew exactly what was their neighbor. We're very fortunate to have Wegmans. They're a great neighbor. The library was a good neighbor. And I have to say, you know, Walgreens closes at 10. So we don't have any issues with that. But the traffic's going to be bad. You know, if this goes up, you're going to get complaints, and then, you know, we'll get one of those big signs, you know, that shows people how fast they're going. That'll hang out for a couple months, won't do anything. You know, I mean, we're inviting issues. It's inviting problems into our neighborhood, and I hope you do the right thing. I think this is really bad for a small area of Arundequoit. So.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Next is Larry Vandermolen. Okay.
Larry Vanderbilt and I live at 13 Abington, which is directly behind where they want to put their gas tanks. The gas part of this is my biggest issue. It's like there's no way to make a gas station quiet. You know, I bought my house. One of the features I love about my house is I have a sleeping porch on the back of my house. If there's a gas station in my backyard, I'm never going to use that sleeping porch again. I have a patio, I have a deck, I have a hammock. All those things are enjoyed because it's a quiet neighborhood. I put a lot of effort and a lot of money into my backyard, and it's like I don't really want to lose the use of it because I'm hearing booming stereos in cars, car doors slamming, locks beeping, gas tanks beeping. You know, it does seem like the lighting issue can be addressed, but I don't think there's anything that's going to block the sound. It's just going to be a constant thing. I also did a little quick search. There's already 11 gas stations within a 2-mile distance of that spot. I mean, do we really need another gas station? I think it's ridiculous. I really do. The traffic has been addressed, but it's the traffic study, which I just briefly read a couple of pages of hers because I did contact Mr. Brunel and asked me if I could get like a link to the plan or a link to the traffic study, and he responded and said he was taking a couple of days off and he would get back to me Monday, and I never heard another thing from him. So it's like, you know, as much of the goodwill about reaching out and everything, I did reach out and got nowhere with it. So I don't have a lot of confidence in follow through on that. The traffic study, it's like if you don't live in that neighborhood, the rush hour times that they've listed are not really when the rush hour is in that neighborhood. The rush hour is more around when school lets out, when the town barns, whatever they are, when all those employees are going down the road. And it's just, you can't make a left-hand turn there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can't do it. And the driveway, the proposed driveway, which is already there, is actually the U-turn spot for people leaving the last exit of the plaza that want to go the other way on East Ridge Road. That's the only place they can legally do a U-turn. Very often they will do a U-turn where they're not supposed to do a U-turn right before, and then there's cars coming down to do a U-turn, and now you're going to have trucks coming out of the gas station. And so the gaps are gone. There will be no gaps for people coming out of our neighborhood to make a left-hand turn. There just won't be. And I think it's just, I don't think anything 24 hours should be allowed in that location. It's like, I'm really encouraged to see so many people from the neighborhood there because we love our neighborhood. It's a really quiet, well-kept neighborhood, and I think it should stay that way. And I really think that a gas station or anything really 24 hours in that location is a really bad idea for us and for Arundequoit. I think that these kind of locations need to be protected. You know, it's like I had a garage sale a couple of years ago, and I had tons of people from the neighborhood telling me what that neighborhood used to be like, and there were vacant houses all over the place, and there was it was not a great place. And it's beautiful now. Everybody takes care of their house. Everybody takes care of their garden. Like I said, people are walking their dogs all the time. There's a guy going around in a wheelchair walking his dog. And I'm also concerned about the amount of foot traffic for school. It's like there's a lot of kids walking to school in the morning. There's a lot of people walking to Wegmans in the morning. And they've got to cross over all those driveways now and deal with 10 times more traffic if there's a burned area there. So thanks for listening.
Okay, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Next up, Michael Orman.
Hello. My house is also on Salem Road,
and this is a street which intersects into Ridgewood Drive, which is the only then exit if you want to either go to East Ridge or to Worthington. And I'm not opposed to burn dairy convenience stores and gas stations in general, but I'm just opposed to this particular site as the proposed site. Because of if there is 24-hour fuel service and vehicle fuel service, it's likely to increase the traffic on Ridgewood Drive. And if there is increased traffic, it's going to be less convenient to exit the streets like Abington and Salem to get to either Ridge Road or Worthington, especially if you need to make a left turn on East Ridge going to the 6 blocks away, the entrance to 590 South, or going making a right turn. But adding this extra traffic is going to make it really more difficult to make left turns onto East Ridge. To say nothing of the, and it's already been mentioned, I don't want to go into detail about the people in the neighborhood who enjoy their walks at all hours of the day and some even walking their pet dogs and so on, or the children in the neighborhood using the sidewalks. I might point out that I think that Ridgewood Drive isn't really designed for a very much higher volume of vehicle traffic than there is now, because if you notice, there aren't any sidewalks on the properties on the west side of the road for those people who live on the west side. It's already been mentioned, the increased hazard to high school students going to and from school who would be walking along East Ridge. I also think that this proposed vehicle fuel service being so close to a residential property is not a good idea from a health and environmental perspective. In addition to the complaints that one of the previous speakers made, I'm concerned about the increased exhaust from the cars in the fuel service area and the parking lot, which would, on days when there's a breeze from the south, will carry this exhaust and so on into the backyards of the people who live along that lot on the back of Abington there. And if they like to, during the spring or summer or fall, open their windows, they'll have to close their windows because of the increased vehicle exhaust in the air drifting up from that parking lot. The only other thing I want to mention too is regarding in general the proposal to add more vehicle fuel service stations, is that looking down the road, that there may be, it's likely that there may be a reduced demand for a vehicle fuel in the next 10 or 20 years. If you follow the news on the goals of current U.S. government administration and half of the elected members of House and Senate, that they have a goal to persuade auto manufacturers to convert 50% of their new automobile sales to electric vehicles. So if the Burns organization builds this combination convenience store and fuel service station, will make it necessary for them to close it if there are changes in vehicle design which change the marketing picture in the next 10 or 20 years. Those are the only, that concludes my comments. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you. Now, that's the last one to sign up. If anybody else would like to speak? Okay, sir, just say your name and your address, please. Thank you.
My name's Bob McCormick. I live at 3092 Culver Road,
Okay.
and I'm speaking for myself and for my backdoor neighbors. I have a neighbor behind our house that is a young couple with little guys, babies. I cannot imagine what's going to happen to the property values on Ridgewood, Salem, Abington, the whole stretch down to Worthington. I have a good friend, coworker, lives on Salem. I would agree that this isn't about a burned dairy convenience store. This is about the gas. I would totally agree with Larry that the gentleman who presented the project, I don't know if he realized it, but he undercut his own arguments by talking about how many other gas stations are nearby that were granted permission to sell gas. There's plenty of gas. We don't need another one. We don't need this project as a gas station to simply undermine the resale value of an entire block of neighborhood, driving residents away from living here. I totally argue against this project. The use of, whether it's 8 pumps or more, that are unnecessary. 11 gas stations within 2 miles now? And Larry's right. The trend is downward. I'd like to see the marketing plan for this burned dairy. I mean, what's the game plan? This is like, did anybody watch the Field of Dreams game? The Yankees? If you build it, they will come. I believe they will come, but for how long? 5 years until, your hybrid car doesn't require as much gas? Your EV car doesn't need any gas? Come on, people. Let's think a little, let's use a little forethought moving ahead, whether or not this is a necessary gas station. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Sir? Go ahead.
Quick. My name is Chad Wright. I live on Salem Road. I want to first start by thanking the gentleman for the presentation. It cleared up a lot of the questions that I had, and also thank you for whoever clarified the purpose of this meeting. This is my first time coming to one of these. Probably won't be my last. So I'm going to keep my comments specific to the fueling operation, as I think that's what's important here. So I will start by saying that I have no issue with the operation of a burned dairy. I think I love burned dairy milk and ice cream just as much as anybody else. But my concern really comes down to the long-term impact of a fuel station here. So the first thing I want to mention is I personally, and I never have seen a car broken down out of gas on East Ridge Road, probably because, like the gentleman said, we have so many gas stations in the area. I don't think we need another one. Again, to the previous gentleman's point, I think the first gentleman presenting here was trying to make the point that there's precedent for another gas station in this area. But it also is kind of a double-edged sword, because I think you just proved that we don't need another one. On top of that, if we look at the news, like someone else was saying, most major American automakers, as well as international automakers, have committed to going all electric by the year 2030 or even sooner. So in the next 9 years, there's going to be a dramatic decrease in how many vehicles on the road actually need to fuel up. So let's add on top of that the situation that we're currently in with COVID, and how many people are working from home, myself included, and how many businesses are going to continue to operate in a remote or hybrid fashion, therefore cutting down on commute times, cutting down on how much time people spend in their cars. What I want to call out today is that the decision that you all make is not just impacting what happens to us in the neighborhood in the next couple of years. We do have a great neighborhood, like people are commenting on. We have a lot of people that walk, and we'll take up those concerns with the planning board. But I want to look 20 years down the line. I've spent my entire career working in commercial real estate lending, and every commercial real estate deal that I have looked at contains environmental surveys, and we constantly are going in and doing surveys to understand what was on land 20 years ago. And 9 times out of 10, there was a gas station, and there was some sort of a leak, and there was some sort of cleanup. So when we talk about that, that's kind of the norm, that a gas station operating today can have no environmental impact. They can be doing everything above board and by the book. But 20, 30 years down the line, we find that there was some sort of impact. So when that's in the middle of a concrete parking lot nowhere near a house, it's not as much of a big deal. But some of the people that are here tonight don't live 2 blocks back like I do. They're right on top of that station. This has potential impact to their backyards, the soil in which they potentially grow vegetables, they potentially water, any of those things. So I think that, bottom line, this proposed fuel operation is far too close to a residential neighborhood, and there are a lot further impacts beyond the fuel that we'll discuss at another time. So thank you for hearing my concern.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ma'am, right here, would like to speak? State your name and your address, please.
My name is Anna Zangi, and I live at 60 Abington Road. I'm against the installation of the gas pumps for a lot of reasons. For the traffic, the property value drop. I've been in my house for almost 30 years, and I've been paying taxes based on the current value in hopes that it would go up a little bit, and intentions of retiring there. But if we start to get this type of people that come through, or that he says that it's a family owned today, I don't know tomorrow if they're going to sell, what will happen. I really would prefer them not to be there. Another thing is noise. I live like right next to Wegmans, right where Wegmans starts on Abington. Wegmans parking lot is lower than the rest of the neighborhood. Therefore, the noise travels downhill. So we don't hear very much from Wegmans parking lot. But from this, where they're going to put the gas pumps, it's higher than the houses that back up to them. So noise travels downhill, and it's going to be noisy for those neighbors, including myself. Third reason I'm against this is because of crime. He's saying that they'll be open 24 hours a day, but there's not going to be much traffic, or much business. Well, that's a double-edged sword, because if there's not a lot of traffic, that means they're welcoming to crime. People will know where there's not a lot of people, it's an opportunity for them to come and steal or rob. And we've had instances where that piece, I'm right across the street from where the, there's a grassy area between Wegmans and the library. And we've had people trying to get away from the cops coming down there. When the first thing they do when they come out is my house. So if they're open 24/7 and there is some sort of incident, they'll be coming straight to my house, running down there into my house. And I'd like to sleep at night and not have to worry about that kind of thing. And I think and it's just, and like everyone said, the quality of life. Our neighborhood is not quite Mayberry, but it's a very nice, quiet neighborhood. It's not a dead end, but it's pretty much is, so it's a circle. And I just are concerned about the amount of traffic and the air quality that that type of an establishment would bring.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Sure, come on up. State your name, your address, please.
Patty Burke, I live at 122 Worthington Road, so Ridgewood ends in my driveway. As it is, as it stands right now, I probably get almost hit once a week with people blowing off a stop sign at the end of Ridgewood, turning left on there. Multiply that by 50, multiply that by 60. Comparing an exit on Ridgewood to Walgreens, there's no comparison. Walgreens is not open 24 hours a day. Walgreens has another place to go in, and there's 2 Walgreens in Irondequoit, so it's not like everybody's going there. You don't need another gas station, but my concern is my property values when I have a parade going by my house all day long, and I have headlights in my living room, I have headlights in my bedroom at all hours of the day. My concern is, it's a quiet neighborhood. I moved in from the city in there to get out of it. There's kids riding scooters, there's people riding bikes, and, you know, obviously you can't control people and how fast they're gonna go whipping down Ridgewood to get around whatever light they're trying to get to. That's a problem, because there's gonna be accidents, somebody's gonna get hit by a car. Also, turning left up at that corner, that's a joke that it's not a problem. I live there. I mean, if it's 8 o'clock in the morning, sure, but when it's, you know, end of work day, there's no way you can turn left at that avenue there. There's no way. And then there's one here, there's no way. It's just, again, I don't have a problem with burned area either, but it's just not a good place for it. There's other parcels that could go, that it would be way easier. If they, you know, we got a nice quiet neighborhood. My fear is our property values are gonna plummet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else like to speak? Sure. Come on up. State your name and address, please.
Guys, I will keep it short because I do need the bathroom. So, I live at 21 Abington Road. It's going to confuse you because it sounds like I'm in the wrong meeting or probably in the wrong country at this point. But 21 Abington Road, I'm a resident. Actually, respect to the gentleman who was sat here, he had that beautiful little presentation map up there. As it stands, it's just around the area, you know, it's somewhere I like to walk with my kids. It's a safe environment for my kids. Up on this right side in between Wegmans and the actual proposed plot itself, sorry. It's a nice place to walk, to go to the store with the kids or with the families. That's going to all change, you know, little things like that. If you looked on the little map that was on there, our backyard is literally right on. We couldn't be any closer to this whole thing, you know. On the night time, you know, sometimes we get like, you know, police have got to go for their breaks and things like that. On the night time, I could be in the backyard walking the dog. 2 policemen on the breaks. I can hear every conversation they have. You know, that's on the night time. The noise is going to be crazy. So just on part of my kids and these beautiful people in the neighborhood, don't do this.
Okay.
Really, honestly. Appreciate it.
Okay, is there anyone else? I'm planning on leaving the public hearing open, okay? So it'll be, actually, ma'am, would you like to come up? Sure. State your name and your address, please.
My name is Mabel Campbell, 29 Abington Road. It's, my little concern that I have is that it's right in my backyard. My fence is parallel to the library fence. And since I moved there, you know, there is a portion between both fence, and I have to pay to clean it up every year because I was told that it wasn't, you know, the town's property. But when the library was there, it wasn't too much a problem except for the fencing wasn't good, and all the debris, you know, would be right in my backyard, and I have to, you know, clean it up. But I know it's going to be a business, and my concern is the 24-hour, you know, service that is going to be opening in 24 hours a day. Also, the gas pumps, you know, that is going to be going there. It's right in my backyard. There's no space in between, you know, and I'm very concerned, you know, about that. And that's really a very quiet and peaceful neighborhood. I called it senior friendly because you have the supermarket and you have the hospitals and you have the pharmacies, you know, and it's very quiet and peaceful. And I know that when that business come there, there's nothing against the business. It's just that the type of thing that is going to, going to be happening there. It's going to be a lot of traffic, and it's not going to be the same neighborhood. And I'm afraid if I get older and I want to get rid of that house, I won't get anything for it because the value is going to be going down. So that's just, my thought on this. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the applicant, would you like to come up and, respond at all, or, okay.
Just a few things in regards to the underground petroleum tank, since that's what we're really here for. As the board knows, underground petroleum fuel storage tanks are controlled by the New York State DEC and the United States EPA. Ours are all double-walled fiberglass tanks, anywhere between 15 and 25 sensors on these tanks. We use the most state-of-the-art in the industry, double-walled fiberglass tanks with an interstitial dry space between them that is monitored 365 days, 24 hours. Okay, we meet and exceed all New York State DEC standards, always have. In regards to the issue with old gas stations, I'm not going to deny that. Gas stations in the 70s were not controlled by the New York State DEC. They weren't required to be registered. My stations are inspected. The lines are inspected by a third party every year. There's all sorts of New York State DEC regulations, believe me. They are very stringent, and these testing from the third parties must be submitted to the New York State DEC. They must review them. They must pass. Everyone who installs my tanks are, certified experts in this. Knock on wood, I've had no incidences with newer tanks. And like I said, I've built over 50 of these locations. Again, 30, 40 years ago, you had steel tanks, right? And there were issues. There were single-walled steel tanks that were not monitored and whatnot. But it's a new era. Construction standards, EPA standards, DEC standards have come 100-fold in the last, I've been here 24 years, and I oversee all New York State DEC inspections and whatnot. We have a stellar record with the New York State DEC. I've actually had them come to some other meetings before me. They really won't come, but they'll state that, we're on the up and up with them. So in underground storage tanks, again, it's changed a lot. In regards to the fuel pumps, as I stated, you saw the site plan. I'm telling you, I'm quite certain there was 4 pumps and 8 fueling positions. You only can fit 8 cars. You can't fit 20 cars. You can't fit side by side. You've seen the model, they're called dive-ins. So once you pull in, 1 car fits there. Okay, so you either get unleaded, get mid-grade, can you get diesel? Yes. But the hoses, there's 8, at the max of 8 cars can fuel on that site at a time. Okay, and that's the way it was designed, and that's the way we intend to continue to design it going forward. In regards to traffic, again, I'm going to refer everything to my professional traffic engineer that I hired him for a reason. And he did the study. I didn't make the study up. Okay, and that's about it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Carrie, right now, where's the planning board on this?
So, excuse me, the application is under review by the planning board. The site plan that was submitted by the applicant, planning board members provided at workshop some feedback or comments. So we don't have a final site plan as it sits today. So the plan that you have before you is what was presented to the planning board with some modifications, but planning board is discussing and reviewing that as this meeting is happening. So that meeting for the planning board, the conversation will continue next week at the regular planning board meeting.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I want to thank everyone for your comments. Thank you for the applicant. I appreciate it. I'm going to leave the public hearing open. So next month, we did change the dates. So next month, the town board meeting is the 14th of September, and our workshop is on the 8th. So I'm going to leave the public hearing open. We'll see how the site plan 2 progresses in the next month as well too. So I want to thank everyone for their comments. The applicant too, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'll let the room empty for a second. That means next month, there's still, you could still have some comments on the. No, we're not making a decision, right.
Isn't there another meeting next week or so?
Well, yeah, the planning, Carrie, the planning board?
Yeah, the planning board's meeting to review the site plan is next Monday, which at 7 PM, it'll be in this room.
So, I mean, it just, everyone that's in the audience, I mean, most of the, what?
At the planning board meeting, it's subject to a public hearing, so you'll be able to comment on the site configuration and the site lay, the things that the planning board has purview over. The town board, this meeting that you're at, this board, has purview over the gasoline fueling station and the issuance of the special use permit needed to do that.
And, yeah, I would encourage everyone, most of the issues that you brought up are issues that are brought before the planning board, and they are the ones that can legislate, if you will, over those issues. The one thing that we are here is to consider reasonable accommodations for the fueling on site there. And both the convenience store and the gas fueling are permitted uses, so we can make reasonable accommodations to the fueling aspect. This is a permitted use, the convenience store, and we can't say no convenience store. That's not possible for us.
Yeah, and the other thing.
And I would like to, Carrie, I would like to add to that, that's what I was gonna remind everybody, we're just here, our decision is only for the special permit. And as a business, and it's zoned, for that, he can come, or anyone can come for that special permit. And so basically, we have to look at, does the request and does the business itself and its operation, does it meet the requirements for the special permit, or does it not?
Yeah, the special use permit tells us that it's an allowed use and that it allows this board, in this case, in our code, it designates the town board to impose any reasonable conditions on that operation that's governed by the special use permit. The retail operation, the convenience store is permitted by right. And so, that means that in this case, because it's a new building, it's subject to site plan review. The planning board doesn't say, no, you can't be here, because it's zoned and it's allowed to be there by zoning. And so whether an applicant decides it's a good location, that's a market decision, and the town board can't decide yes or no to that. It's under, the underlying zoning allows the use. And the town attorney may have some additional comments related to that. I'm gonna have the town attorney speak first, and
Right, so I would just like to underscore that the town board is responsible only for the special use permit, and that a fueling station is in fact a permitted use within the zoning code. So that's a completely different decision from some of the other issues that were brought up tonight as far as traffic or lighting or those will be handled by the planning board. And that is, I would just echo previous suggestions that if you're interested in those issues, that you do attend the planning board meetings. There will be opportunities for you to speak there as well, so that you'll have a little more insight too into. Can I ask a question right now? I will turn that over to the supervisor.
We're not supposed to really have a dialogue with the audience. But.
Yeah, we don't, sir. Carrie, so the planning board, what's the date of the next planning board meeting?
it's next Monday, August 23rd.
Okay, and there's public input for that on this
It's scheduled as a
project, right?
public hearing,
Okay.
yes.
And there has been public hearings on prior meetings or for this?
No, this is the first time it's
First
coming
one.
to the site, for site plan approval through the planning board,
Carrie,
yes.
if I'm right, it's 7 o'clock?
Yes, the meeting starts at 7. This isn't the only item on the agenda. The agenda is published it'll be on the website if it isn't already. It may or may not be. It'll also be posted downstairs, and it'll be posted in the Daily Record. That's our newspaper of record. And you can.
So like our attorney said, they'll behoove people to come to the planning board on Monday at
If they
7 p.m. and
to address a lot of the issues that were
a lot of
addressed.
these issues that you brought up here as well, too. Our decision will be the special use permit. We're not making a decision this evening, so we're gonna leave the public hearing open for next month on the 14th. I think I said that right, okay. hours of operation. Well, before, I mean, were there any, well, we'll see on the comments on the planning board, correct?
The,
Hours of
we'll have to-
operation.
well, the hours of operation of the, gasoline pumps, that may be something that's, subject to this board's,
Our
review
decision.
and, conditions as it relates to the special use permit.
Right, it's a special.
24/7
It's
operation.
24/7 right now.
Of the convenience store is not,
The operation of the convenience store is not subject to town board approval. It's allowed by right, and there are no provisions in the code that would restrict the hours of operation. So I'd have to defer to the deputy town attorney who serves the planning board, as to what their abilities are as far as, review and approvals, as part of the site plan approval.
But the special use permit, we could put hours of operation on the special use.
That could be deemed a reasonable condition, that's set forth in, New York State town law that governs the town board's decision, or any board's decision in issuing a special use permit. Correct.
That's correct, and just as it pertains to the fueling station.
Okay. Right. And, I want to make one point that, I personally do, and I know the other town board does, we look at comments that people make at the planning board. I read the minutes, I see what, what people are thinking, or will tune into the meeting as well, too. So really, if you want to continue your dialogue and your issues, please come to the planning board and stress your concerns with the planning board as well, okay? And really, everyone, thank you for your comments. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
the planning board is where you can affect most of the things you've made comment for.
Okay, we'll let the room clear for a minute. I gotta find out where we left off.
Number 19.
19, okay, Barb, thank you.
You're welcome. All set?
Okay, Barb, number 19.
Item number 19, authorizing agreement with Card Connect LLC for additional credit card services account for the Recreation Department.
Motion to adopt. Second.
Second.
Katrina?
Thank you. Yes, this resolution brings forward a previously entered into contract with Card Connect. However, due to the previous supervisor's departure, we need to add Supervisor Perticone's name to our contract, and so we require a signature to do so. So we're just bringing forward the contract again with that amendment.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the resolution is adopted.
Item number 20, authorizing amending membership rates for the new Arundecoit Community Center.
A motion to adopt.
Moved.
Second.
Second.
Katrina?
Yes, thank you. So a few months ago, the board approved a basic fitness membership, which covered the use of our fitness room at our new community center. And after much review and research, our fitness coordinator is proposing an additional membership option titled the Premium Membership, which would include all of our group exercise programs in that membership. All individuals would be eligible to purchase that membership, and the individuals that get a health insurance membership or coverage through their health insurance would pay no additional fee. This would give them access to our menu of options, which will be about 30 group exercise classes a week. And we feel that this really reduces the barriers to our constituents, because currently, if you would like to sign up for a group exercise class through our department, you pay individually to take that class. So on average, an individual pays approximately $60 per session, and they only get access to one group exercise class. And research shows that individuals that partake in fitness center memberships take on average 2 classes per week through the group exercise schedule. So this would actually save our constituents money and give them additional options to fit their needs.
Okay, any comments? Questions? This is good. I like this. You got some options for our residents here. That's very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 21, authorizing contract with referees for Fall 2021 Women's Soccer League.
I need a motion.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. This resolution is one we bring forward annually. We host a fall soccer league at McAvoy Park, and that soccer league requires referees. So we would like to enter into a contract with All Sports Assigning to assign those referees. And there are payouts, but those payouts are covered by the league fees that our teams pay.
Okay, any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is adopted.
Item number 22, authorizing lease of blood pressure machine for use in the Arundequoit Community Center.
Motion to adopt.
Move.
Second? Second. Tina?
Yes, thank you. This piece of equipment, or this resolution brings forward a standard piece of equipment that most fitness facilities have, a blood pressure machine, and some constituents have actually inquired if we are going to have one. So we'd like to enter into a lease for a blood pressure machine for $159 a month. We did get our 3 quotes, and New York Blood Pressure Incorporated came in with the lowest quote. We do have funds in our budget to pay for the remainder of this year, and then it will be a budgeted line item for next year. And this would be a free blood pressure machine for any user of the community center to use.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 23, authorizing entering into a contract with Tivity Health for the new Arundequoit Community Center.
Motion to adopt. Moved. Second?
Me, second.
Okay, Katrina. I thought you
I'm sorry, everybody, I just lost it. Sorry.
Thank you. This resolution includes a contract with Tivity, which is a silver sneakers provider, so it covers MVP, Prime, Fitness Your Way, and Healthways. This would give us the opportunity to offer those individuals with these types of insurance coverage for their health insurance. And there would be no fee for the user, but the Recreation Department would get $3 per person, up to $24 a month to offset the costs that go along with this fitness membership. We have entered into contracts with all the other providers, so this, at this point, is our final one and should cover all insurance companies.
Okay, any comments, questions or comments?
I just want to thank Katrina and her team, her staff, for really working out ways so that access to their community center will be available to all, and particularly for those who have their insurance coverage, that they can take advantage of that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 24, regarding State Environmental Quality Review Act compliance for a local law to amend Chapter 235 of the Arundequoit Town Code.
Motion to adopt. Move. Second?
Second.
Okay, Carrie, an explanation? I think-
Thank you. This is the resolution that would address the environmental impact associated with this local law to amend Chapter 235. Because of the number of acres this zoning change could impact, we designated or declared this a type 1 action for the purposes of seeker. So a full EAF Part 1 was prepared, and you've received the full EAF Part 2 and Part 3. You'll note that the proposed local law is going to amend the town code to limit the proximity of tobacco and vape retailers to certain types of land uses. The proposed action will not result in any direct physical alteration of natural or built environments. Any proposed new development that is impacted by these new zoning regulations would need to meet the environmental review requirements associated with those proposed developments, whether it's site plan or special use permits. The local law is actually going to help reduce the number and concentration of future tobacco and vape retailers, which will control the amount of tobacco and vape products available within the community. This offers a potential to have positive impacts on human health. Because of this, we are recommending a negative declaration for the purposes of seeker.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted.
Item number 25, adopting a local law to adopt requirements for tobacco retail dealers and vapor products dealers.
Motion to adopt.
Move.
Second?
Second?
Yeah, Carrie?
So this zoning amendment was something that was, it initiated with, the former supervisor, Dave Seeley, with, some support from, local, organizations. This is a movement that, many communities are taking, so this change is going to provide some, limitation on the location of these retailers and help to improve the health of our community. And so,
Okay, very good. Are there any comments or questions?
Yes, I would like to, just piggybacking off of what, Carrie said, I would like to thank Drug Free Arachnoid and for the American Lung Association for their input on this. It's been invaluable. And I appreciate all their hard work along with our staff.
Yes, this is definitely a good local law.
Yes, it is.
Any more comments, anything? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Just one more thing I will say before we close. Again, well, our next meetings, the workshop is going to be Tuesday, September the 8th at 4 p.m. And the next regular town board meeting is going to be, I'm sorry, it's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. Wednesday, September the 8th. It's the next workshop, and then next regular town board meeting will be Tuesday, September the 14th at 7 p.m. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn, motion.
Second?
Second.
There? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Good evening, folks. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation of the Irondequoit Town Board on ICAT, Government Access.